made sense to me. Just plain, flat out common sense, logic, and reason sort of thing, you know? So I had no problem supporting those things. So for most of my life, I just said, well, I'm liberal, I'm progressive. I guess I must because I tend to support virtually all the issues that what is classified left, you know, progressive thinking, push forward, you know. So now, I don't know what to be thinking. Okay, really got to cut this off here now, guys. Oh God, I don't want this to cut off midway on me. Going to have to find a way now to clue this up in a comfortable manner because I got another 20 odd minutes, I think, but I don't want to go right to the very end of this here. Because this is going to be about 3 or 4 snippets here now, you know, sections in this video, and now I can see it. But anyway, guys, what's happening now, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I mean, it's like you've got the right now, right-wing conservative elements that are pretty much ripping the left to shreds. But I have to say that most of it I agree with them. I right now, like I don't see myself as becoming, because they say as you age, you know, you tend to become more and more conservative and all the rest of it. I'm not going against most of my basic core principles and ideas and all the rest of it. Like I still sort of more or less believe in multiculturalism. I still more or less believe in inclusion. You know, trying to include as many people as you possibly can, and trying to be more cohesive and harmonious and all that. I still believe in all those things. Like I still see how that is going to create a better society, a better world down the road if we can find a way to work through all these bloody issues that we're trying to work through here now, sort of thing. You know. You know, I still, I more now than probably 20 odd years ago. I mean, you know, what we were talking about, the ozone layer and all the rest of it back in the 80s, and what was it back then? How did we phrase it? I'm not sure, you know. But I mean, now I can blatantly see that we're in a climate crisis, and we're not doing a damn thing about it overall, sort of thing. You know, so I mean, I support that now as much as I ever did, sort of thing. You know, and the need to, as quickly as we possibly freaking can, start converting over to renewable energies and green energy and all the rest for the sake of the freaking planet, and for us to be able to continue to exist on the freaking planet. So we are getting wrapped up in all this religious madness, sort of thing. Well, the planet itself is going to hell in the handbasket environmentally and ecologically and all the rest of it, sort of thing, you know, and we're completely ignoring those issues, those problems, sort of thing, you know. And but at the same time, like I said, I did come from a religious background. I was brought up a certain way with certain religious ideas, sort of thing. And I don't like to be true to myself as a whole person here, guys. I can't overlook that either. I can't walk away from that either, you know. So my background is a Salvation Army background. Salvation Army comes out of the Methodist Church, sort of thing. I don't know how much we strayed away from Methodist teachings and all the rest of it as we got more and more into our own kind of thing, our own kind of sphere, our own kind of way of doing things and all the rest of it, sort of thing. Much of our beliefs and our teachings and so on are quite conservative. I think the Salvation Army has a bit of an issue with gay and lesbian issues as well. It's one of the more, you know, I think the United Church has actually moved ahead, progressed considerably more than even the Salvation Army has in those areas, sort of thing. Really grappled with it more and kind of like, you know, present a more progressive perspective on it, sort of thing. But I mean, it's like I was brought up in a religious tradition that said that, well, first that Israel existed, that the Jewish culture and Jewish society existed. It existed 2,000 years ago. It existed before that. That Jesus himself was a Jew. Yeshua was a Jew. The name itself is Jewish. You know, it's like that. Like none of that was ever in contention. None of that was never an issue. None of that was ever debated. It was just a flat out friggin' given. You know, from our writings, our scriptures, our what we go by, and all the rest of it, sort of thing. That's as far as I know. I know this because I'm into all this sort of stuff myself. As to when these books were written, how far back they actually go, who actually wrote them, and all the rest of it. But the thing is, they go back far enough that they easily substantiate Israel's claim about their ancestral connection with this land, and being their land, and their culture and all the rest of it, sort of thing. Their society that they are now inheriting and moving back to and trying to reestablish, sort of thing. Like, so I wasn't brought up with any kind of fringe ideas of thinking, well, Jesus wasn't Jewish, and that Jewish people have no part in God's plan anymore and all that sort of stuff. Like, I didn't think that way. We didn't think that way. I wasn't brought up that way, you know. And but even within my own understanding of things, very, very early on, I mean, when we got into all of Paul's writings, like endlessly talking about Paul's writings, I kept asking myself, why are we focused so much on Paul? We're Christianity, we're not Paulianity or whatever sort of thing. Our faith is based on Jesus, Yeshua. Why are we talking so much about Paul? I used to ask myself that as a kid. Like, why do we not have more writings of Jesus himself? You know? And so this is the way my mind's always worked, guys. This is why, you know, and why I've never been able to settle easily into any one particular group of people and so on, and just melt into a greater whole, because I just think too damn independently. I always have, you know. And so now with the research I'm doing now, what I've been doing over the past several months in particular, going into a year or more now, I'm understanding more and more now what happened in the early church. And what happened before 325 AD, what existed before that, and how Rome changed and twisted things and all the rest of it. I'm understanding the whole bloody thing so much better now. And why there is so much emphasis on Paul's writings and Paul's teachings. And we actually got very, very little from the actual man himself, that the whole entire faith is supposed to be surrounded around, based upon, sort of thing. A handful of verses here and there in the New Testament that supposedly were his words. We don't know with 100% certainty, you know, and that's all we have. And everything else is Paul this, Paul that, Paul something else, and how Paul started the early church and all the rest of it, sort of thing, you know. So the whole religion of Christianity is more so based on him. He is really the real foundation of Christianity as the religion that we understand it today. Rather than like a religion that he founded, centered around this person, but this person himself had his own message that we no longer have. We don't know what Yeshua's message was. His message wasn't about himself. He had a message. And I'm struggling to find out what his message was, not what Paul said about him, and brainwash so much of the rest of the world to think about him. But what he himself said about himself and his belief systems and all the rest of it. Struggling to find out whatever information can be found out there concerning that, you know. Been like re-diving into it now the past several months and so on, that, you know, guys, well, ever since October 7th, to be honest with you, because like in my attempt to connect more and more with Jewish people, Jewish culture, the Jewish roots of our religion, all the rest of it sort of thing, as my way to sort of give back to the Jewish people, Jewish culture, and so on and so forth. We're not devoid from Jewish culture. We actually come directly out of Jewish culture. The first movement, the first Yeshua movement that Christianity emerged out of was the sect of the Nazarenes. Christianity directly came out of that. From everything that I'm finding out so far and so on, that was the original Yeshua movement. That was strictly a Jewish movement. And what they thought, what they believed, what they practiced was vastly, vastly different than what Christianity emerged into centuries later, sort of thing. You know, so we already have, it can be proven, it can be established, demonstrated, that unlike Islam, we do come directly out of the Jewish faith. Christianity comes directly out of the Jewish faith, sort of thing. So I want to honor that. I want to respect that. I want to acknowledge that. I want to celebrate that. And I want to spread that message more and more and more within the Christian world, that we have to get back to that, and we have to form very powerful, strong, close ties with the Jewish people and the Jewish nation, because one, they're needing it now more than they've ever needed it in like quite some time, and two, it is getting back to our original roots anyway. It better honors Yeshua himself. Yeshua was a Jewish man. He lived in a Jewish society. He had Jewish beliefs. You know, so if we want to honor the man properly, want to honor his legacy properly of what he tried to bring into the world, and you know, one good way to do it would be to acknowledge his Jewishness, you know, and that he died a Jew. He didn't die a Christian, he died a Jew. And there was no Christianity for hundreds of years after he passed from this world. You know, this is what I'm finding out. This is what I'm discovering now. This is why I see now there's so much focus on Paul and everything that happened after 325 AD. We talk about the early church fathers and all of that. All this came long after the fact, guys. You know, but Christianity is forever focused on that and not anything that came before 325 AD, sort of thing. You know, so am I going off on a tangent or not? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to go up in a moment or two now, guys. So I got the radio turned very low now. I hope that music is coming on too over the recording too loud either, so I get another freaking copyright strike. So this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, I feel that I have a very unique perspective on so many of these things that you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying, but just hear me out. Just listen to me and hear me out and consider the things that I'm presenting. I am forever, endlessly getting into these debates and these arguments and basically shouting matches with people online. Talk about the craziness I'm going on with, and I need to stop this and stop thinking this way, and this is evil and I'm going to go to hell. The same old fucking shit that's been pumped in my head all my life, you know, from religious people, religious fanatics that can't think beyond their dogma, sort of thing.